Okay, I think I'm going to get started. So, welcome everyone. If you're new to this, this is 15 minutes of positivity. We meet every day, Monday through Friday, just for a few minutes to practice and practice behaviors and activate parts of our brain that have been shown to create the foundations for sustained well-being, especially if we're struggling with anxiety or depression or other mental health challenges. And so the idea is that we keep this really short and sweet and make it really practical. So um, today's theme is all of humanity's problems stem from our inability to sit quietly in a room alone. This is Blaise Pascal, philosopher and mathematician. And I like this quote because I know it to be true in my life when I don't take the time out to just be quiet and still. My mind has this tendency to get really speedy and anxious and be constantly, worrying about the next thing. And when we don't sit quietly, uh, I think many of us have a hard time accessing these parts of ourselves. And so I love this picture, this idea of shining the flashlight, the laser beam at those things that are important to us in our lives, and making sure that we carve out a little bit of time to practice to do those things. And so along those lines, here's what this looks like on a neurologic level. So when we activate certain experiences repeatedly, you have this wonderful magical thing that happens where these clusters of neurons or brain cells in our neocortex, they communicate with each other, and they strengthen these connections through a process called myelination. So you can see, it's almost like we create these super highways of information flow, and they get stronger and stronger the more we activate them. And then there's also this process called pruning, which has to do with a reduction in these connections when we stop activating them in a certain way. So anyway, I always think it's helpful to actually see firsthand, like what it is that we're doing here and how it actually translates into um, specific activity in our brain. So let's go ahead and practice that. So start by closing your eyes and maybe put both feet flat on the ground. And just take a moment to notice what's it like to be in your body in this moment, right here, right now. The morning is done. Whatever's happened has happened. There's nothing we can do to change it. And in many ways, all we're left with is memories. And those memories are literally, structurally, and functionally the result of certain neurons or clusters of neurons communicating with each other in a certain way. And so the first skill to cultivate by sitting quietly is to simply notice that process happening. We don't choose our memories. We don't choose our thoughts. They just happen. And if we're not careful, those memories and those thoughts and those emotions they have a certain pull or a certain stickiness. They take us in a direction, like an experiential direction, that may not be that enjoyable. So the first step is to simply notice this process of thinking and feeling and sensing happening all the time. And one of the best ways to become aware of it is just to sit still and simply notice. What is your brain thinking and feeling in this moment? Just bear witness. And at this point, it's not about changing or judging things as good or bad, or simply allowing this process to unfold, which it does anyway, and just take a step back in stillness and just watch. Heart pumps blood, our lungs breathe, our brain thinks, and our entire organism is doing all kinds of magical things all the time without us really participating in any of it. It's just happening. And the longer we stay still and just watch, the more likely it is that our brain and our mind starts glomming on to certain ideas or thoughts that we have. And before you know it, you're rehashing an argument that you had, or you're rethinking memory. Maybe you're anticipating something that's about to happen or you think might happen this afternoon. That's okay. It's just what the brain does. So what we're practicing here is just taking a step back, allowing all of that without judgment, and just bearing witness. And when we get lost in thought, it's okay. We simply notice and then come back to saying, I just want to bear witness. I don't want to engage in any of the thoughts or the feelings. I'm just going to notice what's happening. It's so simple, it's surprisingly difficult. Again, just because our mind and our brain is a story-making machine, that's what it's there for. It takes all of these inputs from the outside world and spins them into stories and narratives and beliefs and memories, and that's okay. We're just practicing noticing that that's happening. Just watching, looking from the outside in, and then just letting things unfold. If you find yourself getting lost in thought, simply notice and then return back to this intention, just watching. The more we practice the state of mindfulness, the easier it becomes for us to see things a little more clearly, especially when we're activated or we're feeling anxious, feeling upset. We just get better at noticing and saying, oh, there's my mind attaching to a story or an idea. And we get to choose whether or not we want to go down the rabbit hole or whether we want to take a step back and focus our attention on something else. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. And on this exhale, go ahead and open your eyes. Welcome back to the room, as it were, the present moment. Hope this is a reminder of just the simplicity of what it is to practice mindfulness. It's the type of meditation we just did, and it's free. It's available. You do it anytime. I recommend, if you're new to this, that you start with really small increments, just like we did there. It doesn't need to be a 20, 30, 40-minute meditation. Just practice several times a day. Just close your eyes and see if, just for a couple minutes, you can simply notice what's going on. And there's some pretty profound freedom on the other end of that. So hope that was helpful. I'll stick around for a few more minutes if anyone wants to connect. Otherwise, I hope to see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.